Is Terrifier 3 one of the best holiday slashers of all time? Or is it hot dookie poo-poo garbage? Well, today we're going to talk about it, so let's get spooky. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade, this is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky, and today we're looking at Terrifier 3, released in 2024. Terrifier 3 was definitely one of my most anticipated films of 2024, and I gotta say, it didn't disappoint. Now, whenever I watch a Terrifier film, I only expect two things. One, Art the Clown being absolutely hilarious, and two, I want over-the-top ridiculous kills. And Terrifier 3 absolutely delivers on all fronts. And what better way to celebrate Christmas Eve than watching Art the Clown do what Art the Clown does. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Now, what I'm going to do is break this down into two categories, the positives and the negatives. And then we're going to score this out of 10 and in the video. But as with all of my reviews, we always start off on the bright side with... Surprise, surprise, Art the Clown is like the best thing about these movies. And you know, with all honesty, I think that this is David Howard Thornton's like best portrayal of Art the Clown. Like, I really feel like he has honed in on his Art the Clown. He does a really, really good job owning the character. And you know, the scene where he meets Santa Claus is absolutely adorable. I fucking love it. You know, in a weird way, it's kind of heartwarming. But then, you know, Art does what Art does, and then Santa Claus becomes no more. And I also gotta say that I love the look of Art in this one. Now, it's not too dissimilar from other iterations of Art the Clown, but the key difference in this film is that they gave him white contacts, and I think it looks really cool. And you know, I know that some people aren't a fan of contact lenses, but I am, and I think they really add to a look. I used to wear contact lenses whenever I first started this channel, and I kind of want to do it again. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the white eyes, and then, you know, putting him in a Santa suit is also hilarious. Like, I love the fact that the Santa boots also have clown shoes on them. Like, I think that's fucking funny. But yeah, David Howard Thornton definitely really came into his own on this one. I think this is the best portrayal of Art the Clown that we've gotten up to this point. And you know, I hope it stays at this level here. I don't want it to go too much more over the top, but I don't want it to underperform anymore. I think this is like the perfect mesh of like horrifying but also cartoony and hilarious. Art the Clown definitely on the positives list, hands down, no questions about it. So moving right along, we have... So I actually kind of really dig Victoria in this movie. Now, she is the sole survivor of Terrifier 1. And then in Terrifier 2, she's like put in the nut house because, I mean, obviously she got her face fucked up and went kind of crazy. And in Terrifier 2, we are introduced to the Pale Girl, which is, I'm assuming, a demon. And this demon attaches itself to Victoria's corpse when she dies and is now possessing Victoria. And you know, I like her. I don't think she takes too much screen time away from Art the Clown. I think she acts as a, you know, kind of like how, you know, Sauron has the mouth of Sauron in Return of the King. I will always make a Lord of the Rings reference when I can. Like, she kind of acts like the mouth for Art the Clown. Like, Art, you know, Art doesn't talk, so Victoria can talk, and she's kind of like conveying the evil bad guy speeches at the end of horror movies, and I like that dynamic. You know, I like that he's got like a little buddy, a little friend, a little pal. And I particularly like the way that Victoria looks at the end of the film whenever she's got the face paint and the very, very disheveled, you know, mime outfit that she makes out of just like random cloth. I'm a huge fan for tattered and torn up clothing. I think it looks really cool, and you know, there's no exception here. I think Victoria's outfit at the end of the movie, like the third act outfit that she's got, looks really cool. I like the way that she paints her face, and you know, the way that the makeup and the prosthetics look with the white face powder on it, or face paint on it, looks really cool. And she just looks really cool, and yeah, I like her. So moving right along into our next positive, we have... So the story in this one actually dumps a little bit more lore on us. In Terrifier 1, there's really no story. It's just Art killing and yeah. In Terrifier 2, we learn that Sienna, who is the main protagonist in Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3, we learn that her dad knew of Art the Clown before Art the Clown was even a thing and had been drawing him in his sketchbook. And then we learned that he also created Sienna's a Halloween costume, which helps Sienna fight Art the Clown. It's a ridiculous ending. Bear with me. But in Terrifier 3, we get a lot more explanation as to what Art the Clown is. So in Terrifier 1, he is just a bad dude. He's an evil human being. And whenever he dies, his body then becomes possessed by a demon. A demon who happens to act exactly like he did as a living human being. So I'm wondering if the Miles County Clown, whenever he died, he was, turned into a demon by Satan himself and then put back on Earth in Art's body. I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps Terrifier 4 will explain that for us. But in Terrifier 2 and 3, Art the Clown is a demon, which is why he seemingly just can't fucking die. So, in Terrifier 3, we get a little bit more lore as to what's going on with this film franchise and where it's going to be heading. And, in Terrifier 3, we also learn that Sienna's dad knows, it predicts like this battle that's going to go on, and he creates this sword that is, it's all a little bit silly, but he creates this sword that will protect her from Art the Clown, and she's defeated him twice with this sword, so it proves something that he might not be entirely too crazy, but the story's crazy. But it's a crazy that I like. I've been enjoying the story progression thus far. I mean, there's bits that I don't like, but I enjoy it more than I dislike it. So, story gonna go on the positives for me. Now, moving right along into our next positive, we have finally, we get a well-paced Terrifier film. One of my main gripes with Terrifier 2 is that the scenes just drag on a little too long. However, in this one, the pacing is so much better. The editing of this film, the way they cut down the scenes, nothing drags on too long. None of the kill sequences are entirely too long. I think Damien Leone, I don't know if he edited this film like he did the other two, but if he did, he's definitely been like listening to people's criticism, because that's like one of the main complaints, I think, is that this film was like the Terrifier 2 was too long and a lot of the scenes dragged out. But in this one, they definitely are paced like almost perfectly. Like in this one, we get all the information that we need, and none of the fat. But yeah, this movie has great pacing. It doesn't feel like it's taking forever to get through a kill sequence, which you should never feel when watching a kill sequence. Those are the best parts of these movies, but whenever they drag on too long, it gets a bit on the tedious side. However, this one, all of the pacing in the kills, all of the pacing in the exposition, all of the character developing scenes are all very well paced and trimmed down to where they need to be. Like, we get all the information we need without any of the bullshit, which I do appreciate. Now, with that being said, we move on to our next positive, which is, I mean, it's obvious, right? Like, the kills are the best parts of these films outside of Art the Clown himself. And all the kills in this film are done really well. There's not a bad kill in the bunch. Unfortunately, I just can't really show the kill sequences in this video, simply because YouTube is really coming down hard on like Terrifier content. Whenever I reviewed Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2, it got flagged for possibly being inappropriate, and I dumbed down a lot of the kill sequences and cut out a lot of stuff so it didn't become age restricted. To avoid all the hassle of editing and cutting things out, you're just gonna have to go watch the movie for yourself. But yeah, the kills in this were all phenomenal. That shower kill is top notch. Texas Chainsaw up the pooper. Holy shit. Yeah, all the kills in this were done really well. I think, even when the kids get, that was done tastefully, because you don't really see it, you just see the aftermath. Damien Leone has a little bit of tact whenever it comes to the murder of children. Now, with that being said, let's move on to my final positive, which is, Now, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about the way that this movie ends. A lot of the big gripes that I saw with this is the sacrilegious imagery at the end, which, okay. Killing kids, whatever. Cutting a woman from her crotch to her esophagus, that's fine. But don't you dare poke at my religion, boy. Whatever. I mean, Art the Clown is a demon, so obviously sacrilege is going to come into play. The Exorcist is a shining example of the sacrilegious nature of demons. Don't know if you know this or not, but demons are not a fan of the Holy One upstairs. But I digress. The whole ending sequence, whenever we see Victoria come back as a demon, dressed up like Art the Clown, like Art the Clown's assistant, that whole sequence was pretty cool. And then Sienna fucking stabs into her neck and she bleeds and opens up a portal to hell. Sienna's cousin falls into the portal to hell, so the next Terrifier film is going to be a weird one for sure. Sienna's going to have to go to hell to rescue her cousin. I also really like whenever Sienna stabs Art in the throat and, his eyes turn bright white, just all white. I think that looks really cool. But, it ends with Art going onto a bus, and there's a lady reading a book called The Ninth Circle, which if you're a fan of the Terrifier universe and a fan of Damien Leone, you know that is an Easter egg. But the way the movie ends with Art the Clown and he does the little squeak before it ends, I really dug the ending of this film. I think that it is one of the better ones in the franchise for sure. Yeah, the ending's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I know other people don't enjoy it, but I do. So that's just about going to do it for all of the positives. Now we move on to... So at the end of the movie, we see a skull that is presented to Sienna, and Victoria lies to her and says that is actually her cousin, Gabby. That's her skull, that she's dead. And that turned out to be a lie, and then Art pulls out a pair of glasses and puts them on the skull, and Sienna recognizes those glasses as being Jonathan's glasses. Jonathan is Sienna's brother, and he was a pretty big part of Terrifier 2. And even though he kind of takes a little bit more of a backseat in this film, he's still an integral part of the story. And I'm just not a fan of them killing him off screen. I feel like if they're going to kill him, that they should have done it on camera. I understand they wanted to set up a gag, but at the same time, I think he deserved a better death than, just off-camera kill, and then here's a skull with eyeballs in it, and that's Jonathan. Terrifier 4 isn't out yet, so, this is going to end up being either a hindsight correction or something like that, because I personally don't think Jonathan is dead. Like, with the amount of bodies that have been strewn about in Art's wake, that could be anybody, and he could have just snagged some glasses and put them on there, all within the hopes of crushing Sienna's spirit. So that's what I personally think that is. Like, I don't think Jonathan's actually dead, but if he is, well then, fuck you. If he is, then it's a giant fuck you to the character, and I'm not a fan of that at all. So I genuinely hope Jonathan isn't actually dead, and that he makes a return in Terrifier 4 and perhaps Terrifier 5. Damien Leone has confirmed to have written a treatment for both of those films, so we'll see. But yeah, if this is the actual demise of Jonathan, then, they did him dirty and gave him an off-screen death that I don't think he deserved. I think if he is going to die, I think it needs to be on camera so that the audience can just be in shock and awe. But, we'll see in Terrifier 4 if he really is dead or not. Moving right along to our next and final negative, which is... magic, swords, demons and angels, prophecies of the unforeseen future. These type of things make this movie border on being absolutely absurd. And for the most part, it is fucking absurd. Like, it's a weird movie. This is a weird franchise. Storyline is fucking batshit insane, but, there's fun to be had, but if you're not into, like, over-the-top story arcs and stuff like that, probably not going to enjoy this movie. I know there's a lot of people out there that just don't enjoy the Terrifier franchise as a whole, and, to each their own. Like, I get it, you know, it's a lot. It's a schlocky, very schlocky horror franchise that is full of blood and over-the-top kills, and now we have a lot of very weird lore. But, you know, this is one of those movies that's just not going to be for everybody, and nor should it be. Not everybody has to like everything, you know? So if you like movies with beautiful storylines and plot points and stuff like that, this ain't the franchise for you. But, you know, it is very out there. Like, it is way the fuck out there, but it's a type of out there that I'm growing to enjoy more and more. Like, the first time I watched Terrifier, I thought it was okay, and whenever it comes to Terrifier 2, I really just enjoy the scenes with Art the Clown, and this one I'm starting to enjoy a lot more about this franchise. I think this is definitely going to be one of those films, those film series that's going to be similar to, you know, like Friday the 13th. I've made that comparison before, but, you know, Friday the 13th didn't really hit its stride until part 3 and part 4. This movie franchise is starting to come into its own and really fleshing itself out, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds. And I'm here for the long haul, so, you know, however batshit the story ends up getting in the future, who knows? So that's going to do it for my review. I'm going to give Terrifier 3 a solid 7.5 out of 10. So that is just about going to do it for me. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas tomorrow. Well, if you're watching this in the future, it's probably not Christmas tomorrow, but you know what? Whatever time of year it is that you're watching this, I still hope you have a Merry Christmas tomorrow. So that's just going to about do it for me. If you like the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends.